everybody, and welcome to the weekly update for week number 4 for our Dynasty. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on this Valentine's Day. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. We are going to get straight into the action here. Sorry, I had to double check my notes there. Get straight into the action here. We're actually going to get started with the Coach's Corner, which this week features Coach Big Papa Jr. So we're going to switch over to that. We're going to send it back to past Matt, the man with the plan. Go ahead, Matt, and take it over. All right. Thank you, future Matt, for that wonderful introduction. And welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Coach's Corner. This week we have a very special guest, son of legendary Coach Big Papa, leader of the Wyoming Cowboys, Coach Big Papa Jr. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, you are the son of a legend in the game, a man who left us far too soon. How has it been not only dealing with the loss of your father, but also living up to those incredible expectations?
Oh, we missed him dearly, me and my brother, who coaches Philadelphia Eagles, Little Papa. Just trying to live up to his expectations. This is a football family, and I can only hope to live up to the 32-0 record that he produced over in Missouri.
32-0 is a crazy, crazy record. No, I don't know if you heard last week we actually had a conversation with Coach Joey, and during that conversation he had mentioned that there was a coach, he didn't say who, someone in the Big 12 that was in and out of your dad's room the night that he passed away. Do you have any idea what Coach Joey was talking about?
Yes, that'd be Coach Morn. Him and my dad were great friends. I don't believe he was there around the time that the overdose happened, but they were hanging out that night and going down to the casino, having dinner, all celebrating, all kinds of stuff.
So we don't suspect any foul play there?
I don't think so. The coroner came back and said it was an overdose. I don't believe any foul play. I know my dad was a little too excited for that second championship in a row, and I think he just over-celebrated.
Fair enough. Well, sorry for your loss again. And I can't say it enough. Huge loss to the game, to your family, to everybody. So it's a tough one, but we try to bounce back. So we're going to actually just switch back to football here. So you come in, brand new coach to a team that has been historically not that great. Let's be honest, they've been pretty bad. How was the morale of the team when you came in? And in general, how was the reception that you got from the students and the staff?
I got a great reception. They knew about my father. They knew about our family. We came in, set a game plan, set expectations from day one, said that we wanted to have a tremendous defense, and I believe it showed through 3 weeks. We've had 2 shutouts already, and I think we have our toughest competition coming up with Virginia Tech.
Let's build upon that a little bit. So you're undefeated this year, like you just mentioned, including this. You had a big win against an in-conference rival and your personal coach's rivalry with Coach Dusty. How do you feel about your season so far?
I think our season's going great. The defense is tremendous. I want to say it's an NCAA high right now with 14 interceptions for a secondary. Not sure of the exact number with everybody else, but that's pretty good numbers to start through 3 weeks.
Absolutely. Anybody would love to have those numbers. So what about your players? Let's talk about your players. Who have you been impressed with so far, and who do you think has some opportunities?
Our quarterback, Brian Herring, he's been tremendous. He's taking care of the ball. He's making good decisions. He's just a sophomore as well, so we got a couple more years with him. We saw last week he's able to run. He's able to throw on the run. And I don't believe he took any sacks last week either. No picks, no sacks. He played a great game against a tough Wisconsin defense.
And anybody you feel like has some opportunities, like offensive, defensively, anybody on that side of the ball that has opportunities?
Our running back is a freshman this year, and I believe he's off to a great start. He's catching the ball. He's making good reads and making good cuts. We saw a tremendous 10-yard gain last week. He broke a couple tackles and then leaped for like an additional 3 yards. So coming in as a freshman, that's tremendous for us.
For sure. So, do you have a game plan as a the new coach of Wyoming coming in? And I'm sure you want to switch things up because, as we spoke about before, your team's been historically not that great. Are you going to be looking to be pass heavy, run heavy, a good mix of both? What's your defensive scheme looking like? Do you have ideas of how you want to switch things up? What's your overall game plan?
On offense, we want to try and keep it 50-50, 50% run, 50% pass. Just keep that balance there. We got to stay consistent with that, make good decisions, continue to convert on third down. On defense, just keep playing the way we are. This pass defense is tremendous. We'll have to sort stuff around to help with the rush defense, but so far we're having a great season.
Absolutely. So you have you mentioned a little bit about it. You have a big matchup this week against Virginia Tech and Coach Suburban Meyer. How do you like your chances against this tough Hokies team?
Hey, I have huge respect for Suburban Meyer. I think it'll be a great matchup, and against a great team, I hope that we can pull through. We've been practicing all week, got a game plan, how to stop the Virginia Tech offense, how to hopefully move down the field on the defense. We've just been watching some film and just setting that game plan, just trying to get that rolling.
Well, best of luck to you in that game, Coach. And we'll end with this the same way I end all of these coaches' corners. We're going to give you the opportunity to sort of talk your shit. You know, if you want to call out somebody, if you want to just look ahead and talk a little bit about the future of your team this season, what your goals are. Just anything you feel like talking about, this is your floor to do it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Not too many bad things to say. I think Coach Shane Falco's having a great season. I think he's turned that team around this year, and we've seen an undefeated start so far. Coach Moore over at Florida is having a great year. I could see him going on and making a deep playoff run, and I hope that I can get this Wyoming team in a position to hopefully contend for the Big 12 championship.
Awesome, Coach. And any comment on Coach Dusty? I know that you guys had a little bit of back and forth earlier this year.
There's not too much to say. He's pretty low in the win column, so we'll just keep him down there. I don't want to put him down any more than what he's already been put down this season.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Coach. We really do appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Now we'll go ahead and send it back to Future Matt for the rest of the weekly update. All right. Thank you again to Coach Big Papa Jr. for being a participant in this week's Coach's Corner. It means a lot that you came in and did that for us, so thank you again for that. I'm just going to leave the stats up in here for a little bit here. Obviously, we can see that he's running pro-style offensive scheme, 3-4 defense, 3-0, 3 wins through 3 games. Can't ask for much better, so he'll hope to continue that this week against Virginia Tech. I'm sure we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. All right, so let's move a little bit forward into the weekly update here. I'm going to start like we always do with last week's games. So we have Virginia Tech at UConn was an absolute battle. Absolute battle. Went into overtime. Suburban Meyer, Virginia Tech go into overtime for the second straight week. Second straight week they come out on top with the win. I'm sure he is not a fan of this. He actually left a comment that said, my heart cannot take these overtime games. We need to either be blown out or blow somebody out. I'm sure he was saying that jokingly, but yeah, those close games can't be easy to coach through. California gets a huge win against Kansas State, 34-28. By huge win, I mean huge loss. Sorry to Coach Daniel Sleeper for that one. Forgot that you lost that game. Tough loss, but I'm sure you'll bounce back. That's the second loss this season. But if anybody can bounce back, I know it's Coach Sleeper. Speaking of Coach Sleeper, the other brother, LSU, Steven, handling business 49-7 against Kansas University. Huge win for them. And then we had Wyoming, again, we talked about it before, continuing to dominate, continuing to win, continuing to just embarrass teams. This time it was Coach Eric in Wisconsin obliterates them 42-0. Coach Eric unfortunately did not stand a chance. And then lastly, we're going to talk about our game of the week, which last week was Kentucky at Tulane. So let's dig a little bit deeper into that game. So Kentucky, Tulane came out, scored 7 in the first, 7 in the second, and then as you can see, they sort of just stayed on top of the rest of the game. Kentucky did win the first down battle, won the total offensive battle, but they did not win a couple of the more important ones, like the third down conversions. They didn't win that. Obviously, the most important one, the score, did not win that. Big reason for that was the turnovers. They had 2 turnovers, 2 costly turnovers, 2 interceptions. So that's obviously going to hurt you a lot. When you don't win the turnover battle, usually you're not going to win the game. And we do see, oddly enough, they did have a time of possession victory, which is odd. Usually the time of possession when it's switched like this, or when it's not necessarily one-sided, but when there's an advantage like this, you can see that team that has that advantage usually comes out on top, and that's not the case this time. Shout out to Coach Rick Dalton and Tulane Green Wave for getting a big game of the week win this week. So we're going to move on to next week. And also, by the way, we had our research team, our people that throw together the clips. They put together a lot of clips for the Virginia Tech Connecticut game, and those unfortunately did not get done in time. Several people were fired on the spot. So apologies again for that. We're losing staff quickly over here. We're just firing people left and right. But hopefully we can get together that package for you guys. We're going to have hopefully a nice little breakdown of the game, so you don't need to watch the whole game if you don't want to. We'll get that up soon onto our YouTube channel, so stay tuned for that one. So let's move into the games this week. So big game, Virginia Tech, Wyoming. We touched on a little bit earlier with our interview with Coach Big Papa. Virginia Tech travels to Wyoming to see if they can remain undefeated. Somebody's going to lose. Somebody's going to lose that first game. So we'll see who it's going to be. LSU at Oklahoma State. They actually already played this game. Quick one. They got right on top of it. 56-10. They destroyed them. So shout out to Coach Steven for getting that big victory. We have Coach Haywood, sorry, my apologies, in Florida. Has a game against Utah, a conference game. So good luck to him on that one. Traveling to Utah there. Southern Mississippi at Tulane. I believe this is a rivalry game. So this will be a big game for Rick Dalton to prove that he is who he says he is. We'll see if he can come out on top with a win there. Wisconsin plays Cincinnati. We'll see if Coach Eric shows up. That will be a good one if he can show up and possibly get the victory. And then we got Colorado at Kansas State. Kansas State obviously last week just took down the Cal Bears. Let's see if Colorado and Shane Falco can switch it up and get a victory there. Unlike their conference teammates or conference counterparts, I guess is the best way to put it, the Cal Bears. See if Colorado can do what they couldn't. And then we got Kentucky at South Carolina. Already played their game, big rivalry game there. Kentucky gets the 1 score victory there. Shout out to Coach Joey for that win. And then we got Coach Dusty trying to bounce back after a couple tough losses already, and he's going to be playing James Madison. So good luck to him in that game. And now, without further ado, we're going to take a look at the game of the week, which a lot of you can probably already assume what it is going to be. It's going to be Virginia Tech, number 5 in the nation, against the Wyoming Cowboys and Big Papa Jr., who's on an all-time hot streak for a brand new coach. So this is being a good one. I think that the plan currently is to play Saturday for them. So keep an eye out on the Discord for the actual date and time. So yeah, this will be a good one. Let's hope you guys can tune in and see this. Let's move on to The standings in the Big 12. Coach Haywood on top, 3-0. Coach Rick Dalton right behind him, 4-0. Coach Shane Falco right there as well. These are all people that have had these conference games already. So Florida, Tulane, Colorado, and Virginia Tech, and Wyoming, are all undefeated in conference play and undefeated in general. Then we look a little bit further down. We got Coach Joey in Kentucky, not the greatest start, 2-2. And then we have Coach Steven, 4-1, had the loss to Florida early on, but they're doing well otherwise. We have Coach Daniel at 2-2. Trying to hold on and come back up there. And then we have Coach Dusty 2-3 with a losing record, unfortunately. And then at the bottom, we have Coach Eric 1-2 and then 0-1 in conference play. Going to move on to the top 25 now. Then we see that Tulane, Virginia Tech, and Florida are all staying together, all moving up to 4, 5, and 6. Then we got, LSU, Coach Steven, number 16. And then I believe that is the only people that are on here. Yeah, we had an unfortunate loss this week with the top 25, with Cal losing their game and falling out of contention in the top 25 currently. But they can always come back. A lot of games to still play. If you're going to lose, you want to lose early. So Coach Daniel can hopefully come back and do some big things for the rest of the year. We'll have to wait and see. Going to move on to the players of the week, and once again, just like last week, the national players of the week are both from LSU. This time not to an FCS school. This time they played Kansas. And I believe this is the same Deshaun Womack was the defensive player of the week last week. So he's once again the player of the week. 5 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble. And then Khalil Ingram, I can't remember if he was the offensive player of the week, but he obviously had a big game as well, 184 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. So shout out to Coach Steven for continuing to have the success with these players. The Heisman race, we only have one representative from our group, and it is Coach Steven again with Caden Durham, his halfback. And at the top of the list, we have Cyrus Allen from Texas A&M, the wide receiver, still doing big things out there, holding down the top spot currently. But Caden Durham is sneaking up. And then we're going to look at the offensive stats. We have UConn at the top as usual. They played more games than anybody, so this isn't the most accurate number, but still good numbers there for sure. LSU and Tulane and Colorado right there with them. Just looking at this, we're kind of seeing that LSU is killing it in passing. That receiving core that they have that's just so speedy. 1,747 yards passing already. They're averaging 44 points a game. And we actually look a little bit further down. Shane Falco averaging 56 points again, but that's not incredibly accurate because he's played an FCS school, and that's kind of unfair. But we'll give him credit for that one otherwise. All right, let's move on to the defense. Wyoming killing it. 622 yards allowed. Virginia Tech's kind of right there with them, 948. So looking at the game of the week, those are 2 good defensive teams. We'll see who can step up and play defense against the other. Florida's right there at the second position. Shane Falco and Coach Eric are at the 3 and 4 positions. So good defensive numbers. Seeing if there's anything that stands out to me on this screen. 14 interceptions is what really stands out. Coach Big Papa Jr. and his defense doing wonders there with 14 picks already this early on in the season is crazy. Looking a little bit further down the list, we have Tulane with 11 picks. That's also crazy. Double-digit picks through 3 or 4 games is amazing, so hopefully they can keep those numbers up. And this week we're going to look at penalties. And we have the most disciplined team, LSU. Coach Steven has his guys in line down there in Louisiana. 0 penalties this year. Wow. Crazy. Coach Daniel and Coach Big Papa Jr., 3 penalties. Wisconsin 4, and then it goes down from there. But shout out to Coach Steven for having his guys in line. 0 penalties through 3 or 4 games is a big deal. So good job on that one. And then lastly, we're going to look at recruiting. Tulane staying on top. But we have some newcomers to the list now. Wyoming, Virginia Tech, and Florida all coming through with recruits that they have signed, all with 4 stars. So they got some 4-star guys in there, which is a great start to the recruiting season for them. So hopefully they can keep that going. We'll see if anybody else can step up and get some more recruits here soon. Who's going to land the first 5-star? We'll have to wait and see. So just keep an eye on that. And I think that is it for the weekly update this week. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Another reminder, I know that it is tough to do. We did not do it before, but I'm going to keep reminding every week until hopefully we get some clips in. Try to send clips when you can. If you're not streaming, you can always just use that middle button on your controller to record video. Just hold it down. If you are streaming, just take a little bit of time. The plays don't have to be crazy. They don't have to be mind-blowing. I just want to get some clips in here so we can show the people some of the games that we're having. 10-yard gains, 15-yard games, cool little spin move every once in a while. Yeah, just throw them in there. We'll see what we can get. But as always, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. So thank you so much for liking the video, commenting, all that jazz. Appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great day and even better tomorrow.